Take two on that beautiful beam footage. Here we go.
It's awesome. Welcome to the Aaron and Austin Show.
Episode 13? Or was it 14?
Episode 13. That's right.
See, that's how I fuck names up. See, like it gets in my head.
It's all good.
It gets in my fucking head.
So tonight we have the lovely and talented Blk Sol.
What's happening?
I feel like I was in this moment.
Yeah.
Deja vu?
Right? Sorry, John. We love you.
Hey, but
bang on tables for John. We appreciate you.
I was doing that. Yeah. So super happy to have you here, man. You have some really cool stuff going on. I first met you at Lyrics and Laughs.
Yes. Shout out to Blk Corns. We were there for 3 years, so it was a cool little
Shout out to Blk Corns. Shout out to Uncle Bam.
Yes, comedian Uncle Bam.
Yeah, I've seen him. He's good.
Yeah. They're awesome. So I was up getting my dreads done at Janacia's like no other.
Yep.
Shout out, girl. And
is that the dread spot?
And this girl come in to check on me on the dryer while Janacia was actually out buying me Mama's Kitchen.
Yeah.
And shout out to Mama's Kitchen. Holy shit.
Everybody gonna get shout out this one.
Man, yeah. Well, I'm just saying, I do that. But
that's love.
So she came in to check on my dryer, and I've never seen her before in my life. But then later I'm at Jerry's, and that's Bam's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that. That's crazy, you know. So I'm sitting here cutting up with Bam, and this girl's like, you know everybody.
Man,
I kind of do.
Yeah,
So tell me a little bit about Lyrics and Laughs. You guys still doing this? This was a really cool event.
Yeah.
So you did 3 years at Blk Corns. They let you like pick a night and like do kind of like an open mic type of thing.
Yeah. So we started off on Thursdays actually, and originally it was just supposed to be 3 months. And then after the 3 months, we sat down with them. It was like, hey, we love to do this monthly. We ended up moving to Fridays. We were on every last Friday. I want to say about a year.
It brought people in.
Yeah, we were well attended.
Yeah.
Took a little time, but we were definitely the consistency. Once the consistency hit,
when they know it's going to be there, they'll start coming. They really will.
Exactly.
They really will.
Then we expanded to Friday and Saturday. Then we had Lyrics and Laughs on Friday, Ladies Night Out on Saturday. We had a cool little run. Shout out to Blk Corns. Lyrics and Laughs really was meant to be a developmental stage. We had took some of the experiences, me and Uncle Bam having been on the road, and really acknowledging that when we would do these shows, outside of the headliners, when we're looking at the openers and these other acts that are filling the show, like Wichita has just as much talent.
You compare it.
I've always thought the Wichita stand-up talent was pretty solid, especially.
Wichita talent, period. That ain't the problem. It's the distribution, how it get out.
And the experience, the stage experience. I think
that's the biggest
there is something that has to be learned real time. Until you get on the stage and you're dealing with system issues, you're dealing with hecklers in the crowd, you're dealing with even just a disinterested crowd, trying to figure out how to draw them in and pay attention to a show. It wasn't too many places where that was really getting fashioned out here. So that's why we started Lyrics and Laughs. And I'm really thankful. There were some artists that I've been working with for 10 plus years who came out to Lyrics and Laughs, and I still saw them grow and evolve. There were other artists that I got introduced to. Shout out to Blackfist. If you ever seen Blackfist perform, energy through the roof.
Yeah.
He just stumbled into a Lyrics and Laughs one night. Bam comes up to me. He's like, "Hey man, it's this dude with this big fro, and he said he can perform some poetry. If we got some space." I was like, "Man, whatever. We throw it up everybody.
Why not?
Man,
you never know what's gonna happen."
And I'll tell the true story.
Yeah, let's and then let it go.
I had a feature. I was figuring out, I was hosting. So I was trying to figure out, okay, where am I gonna go, and then where am I gonna put my feature? And then when Bam comes up to me and he's like, "Hey man, I got this other poet, blah blah blah." I'm like, "Okay, bet. I'll put up Blackfist, then I'll go up, and then I'll bring the feature up. Boom, here we go.
Perfect.
Now, mind you, this is like, I haven't been performing at this point.
So
I'm just organizing. I'm putting together the show. I hadn't really been hitting the stage like that. Man, Blackfist hit the stage. About 30 seconds into his performance, I'm like, yes, this is perfect. He gonna set me up. I'm about to get on. About a minute and a half into his performance, I went to my feature. I was like, "Hey man, are you ready? You going next?
You're next.
I'm gonna put you up."
This guy's killing the stage out there, and I ain't following this shit.
Man, wrecked it. And anybody knows me, I'm cocky when it comes to the stage, but he put on a performance. I was like, man, this.
You have to be cocky when you hit that stage, man.
Especially with stand-up. Or spoken word stuff, because people kill stages in front of you. You got to go up there and still.
No, I'm just telling you, you hit that stage like John says. You got to be the most interesting thing in that room.
For real,
you do.
Straight up,
demand attention.
You got to be the TVs, the waitresses, and all that shit.
Yeah, you ain't doing it right.
That's for real.
But speaking of live and local entertainment, we're gonna run a graphic real quick. Tell you where all the shows are this week.
Yep, hit up local shows, support local music.
Yes.
Buy a fucking t-shirt.
That's the only way we're gonna keep it rolling, guys.
Buy a sticker. Buy something. Shit, it's $5. Buy
more than a ticket.
Yeah,
buy the tickets too,
but more than a ticket.
Something else.
Yeah, buy some merch. Like the cover charge is like the, what we're trying to do.
Yeah. All right, so roll that graphic. All right.
So yeah, always appreciate that graphic. Thank you, production team.
And I want to give another shout out to John, man. We create the original music behind that graphic.
Okay.
We do that while we just sitting around wasting time.
I can dig
a lot of times.
I mean, they got a studio. I love it that they love to do it, and we said it on the last podcast. But like right when I was like, man, it's time to change that. They had it ready. They had a new song. I was like, all right, you guys are on some shit. Good for you.
Yeah. So is Lyrics and Laughs still going?
Not at this point, but we
bring
are.
it back.
I'm glad
I can come.
I'm glad this conversation is happening. We are actually in the works.
Planning on I hope it comes back. I can't wait to hear.
Hey, and what's going to happen? Just for you venue owners over here, what's going to happen is a bidding war. So I want to see, like, this bar wants it for $500. Maybe this bar gets it for $700. You know
I'm
what
tell you now.
I think $18.50 sounds right.
$18.50 sounds right.
I push 2 G's. I mean, he's gonna do it once a month.
I think you're right.
Bring all this artists in.
Y'all might want to jump on it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I really might want to jump on it. One thing I've been working on.
It was successful there.
Yeah, and we've been working on this Missouri, Oklahoma, Kansas Connect too. I got some organizations that I've been working with poetry wise, trying to connect all of them. So. We are thinking about bringing Lyrics and Laughs back, but not the way it was. We think about bringing it back in a bigger way.
Open them pipelines up. Bring Wichita some shit I can't see somewhere else.
Yeah,
and then we can vice versa with that too. You can
it basically works like that. As a musician in bands, we do gig swaps. So you got a band in Oklahoma City. Yeah. Well, I got a band in Wichita. Why don't I open for you there in Oklahoma City and you open for me here?
I'm a big football dude. In college football, they do home and homes.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go play in your city.
And if you whack, we do a home and home. You get 2 in my spot and 1 in yours.
We got to level it out.
Yeah, I mean, know where you are in the hierarchy. Sometimes. But like for me, like even if I was a struggling artist or wanted to break into a new atmosphere, because doesn't anybody want to once you start to get some local pub, it's nice to go regional, like move to a few places.
It's the next logical step.
Yeah.
Well, with social media, right, it's almost the first logical step. Like, you have to perform where you are, but the fact that I can put a video online and within an hour, I might be in 3-4 countries. I've touched all the different states.
Yeah, well, it don't take one random motherfucker to make it seem by a lot of them.
That's right.
Come on, and we forget the same alchemy, so to speak, that same equation plays out in real time.
That's right.
It does.
You see it on the internet, but if you can take that hour drive to go support that other show, you have the same demographic going on.
Right.
All it takes is that one person to be like, man, you are who I've been looking for. I dig your art. I'm digging what you're doing. I'm going to put some money in your pocket right now by buying your merch. And guess what else? I'm going to do the next best thing. Everybody I see,
I'm going to tell them about it.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Where's your music at?
That word of mouth travels so fast, man.
And
especially when you
can't buy it.
When you, like you're saying, hit a real somebody. When you hit somebody like Aaron or somebody that's got real people that believe that person when they say, hey, this is something you need to check out.
I'll even offer this though. You can turn people into that person.
Oh, all right.
You can turn people into that person because when you talk about word of mouth spreading, it's great when you have somebody that's connected, right?
Yes.
But even the person that's connected, you walk into a venue, right? If you hear 4 different side conversations all talking about the same artist, isn't that going to make you be like, who
the fuck is this?
It's this person that they're talking about, right?
No, it makes me go to my phone and Google that shit.
What a fucking great point.
Come on.
Makes me go Google that shit.
I mean,
and I've done it.
Me too. I mean, you never want to be the person that's missing out on some shit.
Yeah,
I mean that's how easy it is. And if it's being spread, it's worth hearing about. I mean, numbers are never wrong. Rarely. I mean, some people latch onto a bunch of dumb shit, but for the most part, when you see a video or an artist or somebody go hard and get a bunch of looks, it's because it's probably fucking funny. Or it's probably fucking good.
It's something to it.
Yeah, it's something to it.
Something to it.
We can never put your finger on it, but it is something to it.
We say that shit, but everybody knows that Facebook reel that got 12,500 views, and you click on it and you're like,
why the fuck? It happened. So it had something. It had to have something.
I'm never getting that time back. No, it was just next on the line, and nobody wants to.
Maybe there's a lot of that.
It was next on the line.
Well, you got to pay for that next on the line or shit, don't you? Or something.
Craziness.
Good luck figuring that out. You figure it out.
So speaking of promotion, man, we got a Juneteenth coming.
Yes.
School us on the new Juneteenth.
So
stuff.
The quick hard line on Juneteenth, for those who don't know what Juneteenth is, everybody knows about 1776, the Declaration of Independence. Yeah. But the fact that there was a very large portion of this country, population in this country, that literally was not free until 1865, right? That is what Juneteenth recognizes. So Juneteenth recognizes the date formally is when the last settlement in Texas was notified that the Civil War was over. Right.
So the last emancipated slaves, basically?
Yeah. 2 years after the fact.
Yeah. When they get it from those people down there.
That's the history behind Juneteenth.
I want to say something else about this a little bit, because it's been declared a federal holiday.
Yeah.
Been declared a federal holiday.
Yeah.
But 9 states recognize it out of 50. 9 states recognize that.
Well, so it needs some more legitimacy. I feel like it's kind of a fairly new thing for the most part. When did Juneteenth start being talked about as a real thing?
So I've heard about it. I'm trying not to go too far into the rabbit hole.
What else are we doing? What else are we doing?
What the fuck? Real conversations are what I want, man.
Juneteenth highlights a part of American history that I don't think is talked about enough, and we point out, by now, it should be pretty common knowledge about racism. It should be pretty common knowledge about Jim Crow, slavery, abolition, that whole movement, right? So I don't want to go into the minutia of that. But there were specific events, right? Not just Juneteenth. You can go to the Tulsa race riots. You can go to Rosewood in Florida. And that's the point that I'm getting at right there.
Yeah.
When you ask the question, well, how long has it been talked about? Within our community, forever. But the difference is, when we spoke on it publicly, at one point in time, this is what gets missed. These people were killed. These people were kidnapped.
Murdered.
Literally. Yeah. So the silence that grew around these events was not incidental. It wasn't a coincidental. No. It wasn't on accident. No, this was on purpose. So there's, on the one hand, a need to have things like Juneteenth being recognized as a federal holiday. So we point out this area of history that has been covered up. The reason why I'm sure the camera caught my face when we said Juneteenth, the reason why I have this conflicting feeling about it, though, acknowledging a history is great. If we don't actually take a look at what happened
there,
and we don't see, is it still relevant? Are elements that were established in this history evolving?
Are we still going through that shit?
Right? And nothing stays the same. It's either going to get destroyed or progress. So if I can still see these elements here, I'm not looking back like, oh man, this is how bad it was and this is still here. I'm looking like, that's how bad it was. How bad is it now? What is it now? And just because we can't see the surface level, I don't know when the last time I see somebody get hit with a fire hose. Anybody getting dog sick on them. Like, just because we don't see that doesn't mean the roots that were established during this time.
Just because it's better than it was doesn't mean it's where it should be.
I argue, is it even better than what it was? Yeah. I would argue if it's better than what it was on the...
Just because it's better than it was doesn't mean that it's not.
Explain what you mean by you'd argue that it's not better than it was.
No,
I feel like it...
No. I'm saying...
Exposure to everything...
It's better than it was. But just because it's better than it was doesn't mean we're where we need to be. We're still in a place in society
there's lots of room to grow, but...
oh my goodness.
There's...
So much.
Tell me what you mean. Yeah, tell me what you mean by it ain't quite better than it was.
5 years ago, and I'm going to stay relevant to what we're talking about, Juneteenth. Okay. 5 years ago, I could use, because we've been doing Juneteenth celebrations in this city. The Juneteenth celebrations that we're going to talk about here have been officially going on for 6 years, right? And even before then, there was another organization who was doing celebrations for Juneteenth. So back then, Juneteenth could be used as an educational tool. Yeah. And right now, I think we're at the very beginning phase of that fading away. Yeah. As it becomes a federal holiday and it becomes... I saw way more...
So it takes the depth out of it.
That happened last year.
I saw way more memes about the ice cream that Walmart released than I did about the actual history of what was going on.
It's kind of becoming like an Easter bullshit.
Commercialized. Like every other holiday, it is going to be commercialized. So if we do not address the issues wrapped up in Juneteenth, not only are we... This is why I argue we may not be better off. Not only are we wasting a holiday, but we're closing the door on change, because what once was an educational opportunity now just becomes another commercialized holiday. And when is the last time you ever saw somebody actually learn something about what does Christmas mean?
Buy a fucking card and move on. Right?
Do you know what I'm telling you?
It becomes glossed over, and the issues don't get talked about.
That's a very intelligent look at that situation, and I didn't even think of that angle. So that is like, why lose the depth of it? Like, you can't abandon the substance of that just to commercialize a fucking holiday to appease the black community. But like that's a fake. It's a fake.
But that's America. Like straight up.
It is. Unfortunately,
that is the format of America. Yeah. America puts it out there like this.
Because that's the shit I've been fed. Like it's like the fucking ice cream horse shit. It's like, can we? And that's why I was looking for like some real. Like, what is the holiday about, and like what is the meaning of it? And I'm glad that there's somebody trying to still preach that method. And
so I do want to talk about the event.
Yes,
let's support this. This is important. This is American history, guys. I mean, this isn't.
Yeah, we all part of it.
You know, I mean. We all love Columbus Day, but that motherfucker killed.
That shit ain't even real. That shit ain't even real.
And let me be very specific.
Shit.
There we go. My son is Native American, so he says that. You know,
I can have my opinions on where it's going to lead socially, right, and the use of it politically. But one thing I'm going to say to anybody who may not know what Juneteenth is, or maybe the only thing you're seeing are these memes and all of these jokes, go out to your local celebration. Because on the opposite end, right, there are a lot of people like me who are ready and willing. You want to know the history? Let me tell you. Because not only am I about to tell you this is what it came from, I'm going to tell you this is how we can move forward. Yeah. This is where there are ways where we can take these Juneteenth celebrations, and turn them into something as close to a renaissance as we've seen in the past 70, 80 years.
Can I just move past 9 states? Can I just move past 9 states recognizing a federal holiday?
But, you know...
Can I just move past that?
We're talking about,
great.
The history of racism.
White America for you.
That doesn't surprise me that only 9 states recognize it, when as late as 2013, 5 states still had segregated proms. So
exactly.
You know,
if you really look into
as a gay man, I'm talking about like 2013. Go
look into all the laws that are still enacted today. You almost cringe.
Oh, it's insane.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. If you see some of the shit that's still on the books, like some random ass laws in states and districts, you would fucking cringe.
In Oklahoma, you cannot eat snakes on Sunday.
That's what you got in your pocket?
That's a still law.
That's hilarious.
Snakes.
But that's how our government is.
Snakes on Saturday.
My very good friend Lacey Cruz, county commissioner.
Yes.
I love Lacey, by the way. She is a powerful voice on a commission held by old white men.
Unafraid
in a pit of lions, really. Yeah.
In a tough spot.
And
and
that's a tough spot for a man. And to be dissenting, and then to be a woman in that arena, like, that's...
We needed her. Actually, I think a woman's better for that spot. Go in there and fuck with them all.
She tells me, like, go in there and do what you do. Government is reactionary.
Yes.
If you don't make a stink,
they don't do shit.
They don't make laws about you.
You're right. They don't do shit.
So it's up to us.
And, you know,
it really is up to us, man.
We got to get strategic.
We got to make that stink.
Yeah, we got to come together for that shit, because the power works.
No, our power in numbers works if we got our numbers. It's their job to divide us.
Well, I'm going to take this stance. I think since the beginning of time, the idea or the fantasy that we'll all come together and we'll stand against this eternal evil and we'll fight, that has always made us feel good and given us hope.
Rarely been the case.
But I would argue if you look at any point in history where what you consider real change was taken into effect, whether that was through the legal process, whether it was through revolts and riots, whether it was through even the people's movement, right? Actually take a look at the number of people who were involved compared to the number of people who were affected. It's always the minority. It is always the minority that pushes these type of issues. It's making sure that I can be a minority, but if my issue is universal.
Yeah.
Because we all under the same struggle. I mean, it ain't no
different. All right. So what is that struggle? Okay, I've looked at this a little bit, and I think the struggle is homogenization. I don't want this all to be the same, man. I want to keep my culture. I'm with you. I want to keep my culture,
I am too.
and I want to represent my culture, but I want it to jive with yours. I want to find our
not feel like
you know what I mean?
Like I'm intimidating your culture.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say.
That connectedness.
How do we get connected? But how do I respect you while you respect me?
That's the bigger question.
You know what I mean?
Respect is the bigger question.
And how do I value your input as like bigger picture shit? You know what I mean? How can I learn from you, man?
2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 mouth.
Right.
Listen, you know what I'm saying? Twice as much as what you talk.
That's what I'm trying to say.
And it takes getting together, because you'd be surprised how much people are good and great and things work when you sit in front of somebody.
Yeah.
Like when you talk on the fucking text messages and social media, everybody's got their weird shit. But most time you sit in front of some people, they're really nice and really want to make things work. Like you'd be surprised how shit goes together when you really communicate well.
And I'm going to bring this up. This is going to be a fucking... They're gonna flag us, okay?
It will be.
Yeah. All right. But I'm gonna bring this up. We're talking about Lacey Cruz right now.
Yeah.
Lacey Cruz leaked the footage on the Cedric Lofton. On Cedric Lofton.
Yeah.
I have no frame of reference.
Cedric Lofton was a 17-year-old black man that got killed inside of juvenile custody.
Okay.
And it was not a fair fight.
Was he killed by the people that run the
coroner, the fucking coroner.
I haven't heard anything about this. So
are you serious?
Yeah, dude, school me. Sorry, I missed it. So we have an audience that hasn't heard this either. So
our Cedric County coroner said that was homicide.
By the autopsy report.
Yeah.
So was he killed by the people that run the facility?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And
was that out there at
and this is what I'm trying to say about
Jack,
This is what I'm trying to say about that. That's cultural misunderstanding. This kid had some mental problems, man. He's a 17-year-old kid, and he's been in the system for how long? And like, there's some. I'm adopting a kid now out of the foster kid.
Yeah, so you have some. You have some.
No, I'm terrified about this. I'm terrified about it because this is a problem. It's a huge problem, but.
It's on so many levels, man.
So back to she leaked the footage of this. That's where we started.
Well, I'm not saying she leaked it. I'm saying it was.
We ain't trying to put her on blast,
she's a county commissioner, and she basically came out and said, "This is what I saw.
Yeah,
this is the footage that I have.
This is security camera footage.
Has there been a lawsuit in this?
There has been FBI investigation.
Oh, this is going to be
an FBI inquiry.
Yeah, and to my knowledge,
like we might not do shit.
No, to my knowledge, that's what happened. Nothing fucking happened.
So
institutions always.
This happened last September.
Yeah.
So we're not even a year. We're not even a year away from this.
And I want to say it didn't really hit the news in the city till January.
I
think it was the autopsy. When the autopsy came out, that's when it
when it was too big to like ignore.
Yeah.
Like they obviously stomped this fucking kid or whatever, and like it's too big to ignore now.
He's in prone position. He got killed the same way George Floyd got killed.
Except the world cried when we watched George Floyd choked out for 9 minutes.
That shit was
right.
Cedric Lofton had people in the same position, 17 years old, 145 pounds, for 38 minutes.
Oh, wow. So his last moments of his life were not fucking pleasant.
Terrifying.
No.
Not even close to.
Terrible.
And especially somebody that's in a fucking place he's scared as shit to be in.
And with some mental...
Whatever it was, he's a goddamn human being. And to get treated like that by the staff to where you eventually... Can you imagine that end?
Staff.
He was a part of the
staff
system,
infection.
right?
Yeah, that's
So you have a caseworker.
Yeah, like these kids are...
Who did nothing.
Where were they?
You have a report. So when youth are taking the JIAC, right, they got this nice little box that they have to check that says whether or not there's a mental incident going on. If this youth is going through a mental incident, you have to attack that first. Mm-hmm. We got to go take them to a hospital, get them to where they go, and then once that's taken care of, then we have to go and figure out the rest of it.
This kid healthy first.
Now, here's the funny part about that, right? Initially, it's checked. Yes, this is a mental health call.
They changed it. They changed his fucking paperwork.
Come on, you flip the paperwork
to save the people of the staff. That's
Everybody who was a part of that incident went on paid administrative leave,
right,
for months.
So you didn't give
and they are all back to work right now.
Goddamn vacation.
They gave him a month off.
They gave him a vacation.
You gotta give him a month off paid, so you shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Damn, that's fucked up.
So
the same people that set on this kid and suffocated him to death
are still in control of some of y'all kids.
Yeah, still in control of JIAC, which is
still.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, come on.
Still, that situation is so sad, man. But
see, this is kind of shit that needs to be heard. The real story of this shit.
That's why.
You know what I mean?
But I don't even know how. I love this city, man. I love this city, but I'd be lying if I didn't say Wichita is a crucible. That if you don't think you're gonna get the heat, you don't know where you're at.
Wichita is hard.
Oh, it's still.
Wichita's hard.
This is a tough place to get down, but
it is.
I think there are simple things this city is missing. Everybody can feel the potential. So we're all shooting for the stars. Everybody are looking for these grand plans. And we don't realize it's little things that are breaking us apart. The fact that you can say you haven't heard about the Cedric Lofton case breaks my heart.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because
I saw that in your face when I said it.
Not just because you don't know, though. It's not just because you don't know. It's because I know you represent, by my estimate, and this is just purely my estimate, ain't no statistics, but for the people that I bump into, about 50% of the city, man.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't
about half the people in this city. If I go and say, do you know what happened to Cedric Lofton?
Is that true? Like, you think 50%?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm a pretty well-known...
No, bro.
Shit in this town, but...
You are my partner in this podcast, and I'm very surprised that you don't know.
I didn't hear nothing about it. But I do avidly avoid all of our local news. So I will preface it by saying that. I avidly avoid all of it, because I don't like it.
So why did this not go past?
But I didn't get it, like, Facebook and all that shit.
Let me speak on that. It did. Back in February, Roland Martin picked it up like that. They had two people that was within the coalition on a national interview. Here's the problem. When you can look at the Ahmaud Arbery case, you can look at the George Floyd case. It's not the video footage or even the publicity of the footage that makes it grow into a national story. It's the people. You can show the most horrifying video, but if you then show a rally with 6 people, it's not going no further. I can show you some footage that doesn't even really reaction. Come on, I can show you
about Wichita support
the people. I'm talking about the people now. I'm dead on the people. I can show you a video that's not even that. Like, you can look at it and be like, man, I don't know, maybe. But if I didn't flash to a riot, if I didn't flash to an uprising with 5,000 people, everybody's gonna tune in and be like, man, what's going on? What are they talking about?
Yeah, what am I missing?
I need to figure out. I need to learn about what is this. Yeah. So Wichita, we had all of the elements. The FBI was reaching out. You had the people who were putting pressure on the legal side. You had the people who were putting together the protest actions. And I preface it like this because I don't want to sound like the too many people I know in Wichita who are just like, there's no support. People don't do this.
No, you can't do that. Up because of that? Why are they backing up because of that? Why don't you just get on board and represent what you're talking about? Like,
what happens is still going on. There was just a rally. There was just a rally for Cedric Lofton. I want to say 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really good.
There was just a drive-through. We have got to get back to humanity.
Right.
I think there's a basic level of humanity that is just missing in this city, and it shows its head in all different arenas. Right.
You ain't wrong.
And the Cedric Lofton case might be one of the most horrifying.
I'm going to say community. You know, like
you can't have community without humanity.
You're saying humanity, yeah, and I agree with you. But I'm going to say community because I see it every day for me on just like a live music thing. Okay, and that's so much more trivial than these deeper issues that we're talking about. But like on a live music thing, I can't get people to support a live band. I can't get people to come support spoken word. I can't get people to come support lyrics and laughs.
They come out for that covers.
You know, but yeah, you got a fucking country cover band. Yeah, they're making $2,500. You know, but that's what I mean, and I think that's what you're talking about a little bit. Is like if I had some community action, some people that are going to come out and support what we're talking about. Now I can put that on a national stage. If I get 5,000 people up at Century 2 supporting a Cedric Lofton, what the hell?
Now that I know about it, I'm all in on this.
Look at Riverfest. Riverfest brought out so many people. They lied about the number and had to produce another article.
They said 50,000, like 100 motherfucking thousand.
Hey, drone footage. But how do you release an article that say, hey, it's 50,000 people, and then slyly try to be like, hey, let's release another article, be like, we lied.
Well, they just don't expect you to read that shit.
I promise you.
That's what it is. They don't expect the citizens to like look into shit. If it's past the first click or the first fucking bear.
Can we take a quick break? I'm a little hot.
Yeah, we can take a break.
Yeah,
we can pause for a second. You need some water?
Yeah, please.
You got any water for him?
We're back from a little bit of a break.
Smoke break.
The smoke break got real.
It did.
Right? I'm just going to say this. Like, when we off camera, we can really talk like...
Well, we try to bring it to you as real as possible on camera, but it's still on camera.
Yeah,
it's still on. It ain't like the behind the building smoke.
Well,
but still,
I'm really trying to put all of this on camera a little bit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because the awareness is what's going to change minds.
Yeah,
and we were talking a lot about that Cedric Lofton case.
Yeah,
would you like to take this for a minute?
Yeah, the particulars of this case are frightening, and I'd love to hear.
They are,
and you need to hear it from. Like you need to understand like that if I haven't heard about this as someone that tries to be a well-informed person in this town, like then there was an avid, somewhat. I'm not going to be the conspiracy cover-up.
No, but there's an effort to suppress it.
It was 100% because and most of you know I'm pretty active on a lot of shit that I don't have a fucking clue about this.
And again, I'm very surprised that.
And exactly, I mean the national stuff I hit, but again I have to preface it by don't listen to local articles.
All right, so Cedric Lofton. Let's talk about this, man. There was some footage that I saw.
Yes.
That was very suspect, okay? We mentioned on the patio about 145-pound 17-year-old kid.
Yeah, man.
Being manhandled by guards.
Gets treated like an adult for no reason.
And you seemed to have some knowledge about the events that led up to that. So start there, I guess.
So This event should be disturbing for anybody that's a parent.
Yep.
Anybody that cares about the foster care system.
I got a foster kid.
Anybody that cares about
fucking people in
police interaction with youth. It's so many areas where it's a complete failure.
Yes. Yeah, and humanity.
It was a complete absolute failure.
Failure of humanity, like you were saying earlier.
Cedric Lofton was a 17-year-old boy, 145 pounds. And he was going through some mental health issues. And it was reported that he felt he was basically having hallucinations, right? He felt like he was being watched and that his home was the only place where he wasn't being watched. So the family took it upon themselves to try to get him some help. You know? And they tried to take him to comp care. He ended up leaving before they got the eval.
He got scared and bounced.
Right.
Well, a lot of people.
I know adults
that get terrified. No, he's already in a bad space.
I mean,
you put him there.
Come on, right? Yeah. So then you have the incident that led up to his death, where initially, because the parents couldn't get the psych eval, they reached out to the caseworker. And the caseworker gave them the direction, don't let him in the house until you get this eval. So with the caseworker not
was he a threat to the family a little bit?
So by this point, the family they were trying to get him help, but with him not wanting to engage it, I can see as a human just being frustrated.
Yeah, like we're trying to help you, and and then with a lot of people with mental issues, they don't realize what they're dealing with.
I have a foster kid. I'm going to tell you that's a daily struggle.
Come on, man.
But it's just like it's triage.
Trying to get
it's gradients. It's gradients of a thing.
And this is where I say it's a failure, because those parents should have had somebody to reach out to. There should have been some type of crisis intervention team, some type of resource, if not just for an everyday citizen, for the fact that he was a part of the system.
Yeah.
He was in the system.
And he's still a minor. He's still a fucking minor in this situation.
I have a kid in the system, and I got a care team about 8 people deep.
Come on, man.
Right.
All right? 8 people that I can reach out to at any given time.
We're not talking about one failure.
And then we put this burden on the damn police department to show up and deal with this kid.
Now,
the police reacts one way.
Exactly. Like, it should have never got to Wichita Police Department.
I don't want to jump too far ahead. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
But there are trainings that have already come out, right? Because this issue with police force and the use against civilians, particularly unarmed civilians, has been a growing issue in this country for 10, 15, 20 years.
Internet and cell phones.
Come on, right?
Thank you. Thank you, cell phones.
The officer in charge of everything that went on at the residence was not trained in crisis intervention.
Really?
Not trained.
So there was no crisis intervention officer.
We have a special needs youth.
You hear me?
Special needs on his own minor now.
On his own property.
And the department has the training, which shows you they have already identified this is a need.
So we can't
is something
we can't find
you
Jim
need to
and
learn.
send him out. We can't send Jim out to this situation.
No,
find Jim.
I'm telling you,
or Bill, or whoever the fuck he is.
I'm telling you, if the only tool in your toolbox is a hammer, that's what you're going to use.
But at least the crisis intervention officer should have been there, though.
Yeah.
You look at everything like a nail.
That's what I'm
but
trying
at
to
least
say.
the most trained officer should at least been on scene. Can we get at least one of those guys on scene for this situation instead of just some regular fucking beat cops?
You have a call that goes out to WPD, which essentially is just a health and wellness call, right? Because he hasn't committed a crime. He's not under arrest.
Yeah, he's at his parents' place.
Right? So it's not like they can just put him in cuffs and move on about their business.
They don't have a case.
They just got to come deal with it a little bit.
Right? Make sure everything's okay.
But the cops were the wrong call.
It was a failure by the system before.
The cops were the wrong call.
The cops were in Wichita. Here's the problem. The cops were the only call.
Oh, shit. See,
that's the problem.
That's the bigger problem.
That's the real problem.
That's the problem. The cops were the only call. And in 2022, there's too many resources around the country where we can look and see. The city of Austin has an option when you call 911.
I've seen that.
And it says, do you want fire, emergency, police, or are you having a mental health crisis?
There's a health and wellness crisis.
A simple one little option.
That's amazing.
Diverts cops from having to go. And they have the statistics that show once they added this, it reduced police contact with these mental health issues. It reduced.
That's the realness.
Come on, man.
That's the real part.
And even on a broader scale, even if cops show up to those calls, now they have maybe a different perspective going into that call.
Yes.
Yeah.
So even if a cop is the last resource, they're responding to maybe, even if they're not the greatest trained guy, and God bless the police department, they do what they can. A lot of times they fall short. But maybe they know a little bit more now on their way there. So, I mean, to me, I never want to see a cop anytime I can get to it. But
the cop issue is multi-layered, but one thing I'm going to say about this, cops are people.
Yeah,
cops are people, and
they live in this community
and that
too.
job is a difficult job. And on the one hand, we have to hold people accountable for what they do, but on the other hand, we cannot continue to put people in failing situations we know will fail for lack of resources, lack of training. We can't continue to put people in those situations.
There's a formula that we've already defined.
Well, the sad thing was,
it yields to failure.
The sad thing was
that even not go that way.
We know.
Well, from what it sounds like you said, they wanted to put him in the right situation and couldn't get him there, and now he's standing outside of his parents' house with nothing to do.
So let me go back to Aaron's comment.
Go back.
If the only tool you have is a hammer.
Yeah, exactly.
So when they got to the house, initially everything is good. They introduced themselves to Cedric. Cedric daps up one of the officers. They start engaging in a conversation. For the better part of 52 minutes, Cedric is outside this house. He ain't causing no issues.
He's leaning against the wall.
Either leaning against the house. He's sitting on the porch. At one time, he asked the officer, hey, can I take a walk? The officer's like, no, we need you to stay here. You know, safety things for your safety and ours.
But he didn't react to that.
And that's my point. He pointed out.
He didn't be like, nah, fuck you.
He didn't escalate none of that.
He seemed calm. He seems calm in this whole situation. I haven't seen any of this footage.
As calm as you can be.
I guess I can't take a walk.
I got
you.
Afterwards.
At one point, the officer is like, "We're going to get you some help. I'm gonna take you to the hospital, get you somebody to talk to, you know." And Cedric goes, I'm gonna die tonight. The officer says, "What?" So y'all are gonna kill me tonight. Oh, no. Well, we're here to help you.
So you can see how frightened this young man is.
That's documented, man.
This is on video.
God damn.
It's on video, man.
God damn.
And it's one of those things where when they released this footage, they released 8 different body cams with like an hour and 20 minutes apiece. So I know they released it like who's gonna watch all of this.
Yeah.
I'll watch.
Oh, you talking about making it long so they don't watch
dropped it. It was like 12 hours worth of footage.
Oh, fuck off.
Right? And that was before Jayak. All of this footage.
So this incident's like 12 minutes long and you're trying to make me wade through the waters.
So I want to go and edit it.
Oh, that's
go and
edit that.
Bullshit.
Go and edit
At 52 minutes in, Cedric is sitting down, and the officers then begin to forcibly remove him. Now, it's important to point out, he's not under arrest. He hasn't done anything against the officer's commands.
Where they plan on taking him? Still the hospital at this point?
It's assumed.
That's kind of what they talked about.
Well, because initially the forms were reported that this was a mental health call.
Oh,
so it would seem up until this point, he's going to CommCare. Either CommCare or St. Joe. It's one of the two places that he's getting ready to go.
I know
right?
I've heard of CommCare for sure.
When they go, they try to get him to stand up. Cedric doesn't want to stand up. He's sitting down. They then pick him up by either arm and carry him. After like 2 or 3 steps, Cedric, he kicks out. Any person is going to do that.
Though. That's threatening.
You have put your hands on me, and I haven't done anything to this point. I'm not
you got 2
under
guards
arrest.
on both sides of me, right?
Yeah, unless his own parents are charging him with trespassing. He's at his own property as a young man.
And you have to point out the fact, this is a situation that I can't say this enough. Put a grown man in this situation and you can understand why they would be worried.
Exactly.
You can understand why they would be anxious and afraid. This was a 17-year-old
and
kid.
we're already scared of the police anyway.
I would personally fight you.
I'm already scared of the fucking police anyway. I don't want to be fucking carrying on,
man. And
I don't have to be doing it.
So how's it go from there? Once he resists the police carrying him, they forcibly get him into the car.
He kicks out. Well, if only it was that simple. He kicks out. And then they rush him into the corner between where the door and the wall of the house meets.
They pin him they corner him.
Right. One on his legs, one on his upper body. Another officer is trying to put the handcuffs on him. He tries to kick out of the hold, and the officer, you can hear him on his camera say, "He tried to knee me in the face." Here come 2 more officers. Right. You can hear. Another thing I want to point out too.
They're really saying shit like that.
You can hear tone and inflection in people's voice.
You're true.
Right? So when you hear an officer talking like this, and we're just conversing, and we're here to help you and all this, I can hear at least you sound sincere, like you mean it. The moment he said he tried to kick me in the face, all that went away.
Yeah, he knew his bullshit.
You hear the aggression in all of the cops. And it's like a switch flipping. That's why I want to go back to that hammer comment, right?
That's right.
When you're not trained, no matter how mundane this situation seems, the moment that officer said that, he activated something in the other officers. It makes me think of military training. They train you to a point to where you're not thinking about it. It's muscle memory.
So he's turned on this guy's a threat to the officers now.
Boom.
So now all these officers are looking at this young man like we say it again. We've all been guilty of this. This is a 17-year-old kid that now this one officer, by saying that, by what you're saying, has now launched all them into this guy's a threat to us now.
Right.
And now we have to forcibly treat him like what we all want to tiptoe around saying is the militarization of the police department.
Come on, man.
No,
the problem
is a whole other discussion.
I'm going to go one further, and I'm going to say that we go into the military about 18, 19. We do our 4-year tour of duty, and we coming out of there about 24. If we got a little bit of extensions on things, we're allowed to run. We go 24, 25, 26 years old. You come out of that military. One of the jobs that you are super qualified for is police.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, you get benefits.
Now, how do I retrain you from military to police?
I don't. That's why you're so highly qualified.
I don't believe it's possible.
I don't think
that's me.
An intention.
That's me. I'm just gonna say,
I don't think they want to.
I don't believe it's possible.
Yeah, that officer turned that situation into a threat with that comment. I can see that. I'd like to watch the footage and see that. But like, he lit a fire on that situation. He threw gasoline on that situation to a kid that was just literally at his own residence, not breaking the law. And again, unless his parents are pressing charges, they really have nowhere to take him.
And look at how this escalates. Up until now, he's getting ready to go get some help.
Yeah, now we're beating him up.
And we're taking him to Jayak,
where there's no help.
And eventually he dies. So it's one of the things where you have to really look and say, one comment, one errant comment.
One better officer trained. If the crisis officer's on this, he goes, hey, he didn't try to knee in the face.
And that is why
settle down, bro. You know
that is why the commanding officer not being trained is such a big thing. Because you are absolutely right. Your officers underneath you could have reacted however they wanted to,
but they should have acted the way I needed them to act.
You should have had somebody. Somebody should have been trained to step in and say, "Hey, this is not right."
Remember why we're here, guys. Right. Remember again why we're here. This is a kid in trouble. Again, this could be your son. This is a kid in trouble. He's 17 years old.
A mentally challenged.
Beating the hell out of this kid and taking him to Jayak ain't gonna fucking work.
Come on,
man. What we doing?
And then the timeline is almost horrific. How long is he in Jayak before he loses his life?
Hour and a half.
So this kid has the most horrific. He's already in trouble. He has the most horrific last 2 hours of his life. He gets carted away from his property. He doesn't know where the hell he's going, probably for the most part. He ends up in a foreign place. He's already thought he said he's going to die. And not only that, it's happening.
Yeah.
Not only that, it's happening.
He was right.
Not only that, it's happening. I can't imagine what that guy's last...
He was right.
What that kid's last few moments were like.
One of the saddest parts about all of this, nobody's been charged.
Right. Well, and we've already talked about they changed the damn paperwork.
They changed the paperwork. And then there was a big push earlier of this year to put pressure on the DA to reopen the case, right? I mean, there were protests.
The community?
Yes, there were protests outside his house. Like it was the whole nine, right? He finally released a statement saying why they didn't charge him.
Yeah.
And it was because they didn't have audio of the video in Jayak.
So you could see it, but you couldn't hear it? That's all it was?
Oh, my God.
So because I can't hear it, and literally this is the argument that he pushed forward.
Somebody fired on that.
The George Floyd case, right?
I can see it.
What they pushed was the reason why the video was able to be admitted into evidence and was able to be used to charge was because you can hear him calling out, I can't breathe,
multiple times.
And calling out for his mother. Because you can hear that is what allows them to charge. But because we have this video showing this altercation but no audio, that's what allows either side to be like, well, this is what I say happened.
Right.
Hold up. I ain't said the worst 3 words yet, though. The worst 3 words. Not only is this my story, but I'm standing my ground. That is the justification that they used. That those workers inside of Jayak and could claim stand your ground.
200-pound officers. 200-pound officers. I saw the video.
Is this a Jayak?
Those are big dudes, man.
Them was the 2 that took him down. There were 2 more who came in.
Yeah.
And then you have to also, because I know you haven't seen the video, that's why I keep looking at you.
Yeah, please see. You're fine. You're not bothering me at all.
There's one point where, when you work anywhere, right? If you have cameras where you work, one of the first things you figure out as an employee
is where the cameras ain't.
Thank you, right? Where are the cameras?
Where can I be? Where can I be?
Yeah,
so
where are they not at?
Where can I scratch my nuts at?
So happens that when this altercation takes place, it's in the middle of a common area with multiple cells. Right. So you see very clearly it's in the open. When they direct him into the cell, why do you take him into the corner where there are no cameras?
They know.
Right.
Come on, that corner has no cameras.
That corner.
And then he dies in the corner with no cameras.
38 minutes later.
And we had a coroner say homicide.
They ain't a fucking accident. They ain't a fucking accident there.
No.
And that's what's sad is like in the cops and the employees at Jayak, there was no one guy that was like, even if they went home and went like, damn, we fucked up. There's no one guy that can have the nuts to say, hey, guys, what the fuck are we doing here?
Kill a kid.
We're killing a kid.
We kill a kid.
Yeah, we're killing a kid here. Like, the fact to me that you get so many people to fucking go along with this, then you get an institution to lie about the goddamn paperwork, then you get them to fucking lie probably to the investigators about who came into the case, and now we're talking about a goddamn video without audio? Go fuck yourself.
We're talking about implementing a system over all this. and any system is manipulatable.
But I'm gonna say this. But I'm gonna say this though. The simple things could overturn this case, and we were talking about this outside too.
Yeah.
Too much of what we go through in our society right now is politicized and polarized immediately. Yes. There are so many people who hear this case, see 1 or 2 videos, and the only thing their mind thinks is police killing a black kid. And every feeling that they have around police interactions and black people immediately swarm in instead of thinking this was a kid.
Yeah.
This was a kid. I don't give a damn what he looked like.
He wasn't a black kid. He was a kid.
This was a
mental
kid
issues.
Who was
17-year-old disabled.
He was taken into custody at his own residence.
Come on, man.
He's a 17-year-old kid. He's not a 17-year-old black kid. He's a 17-year-old fucking kid. He's a 17-year-old kid.
And I want to point out the fact too. I got 2 kids.
Me too.
15 and 10.
12 and 9. 12 and 9.
Yeah.
Say, shout out.
Come on,
no, say the names, man.
Sydney and Lily, you know I love y'all. Shout out. Good. Sydney just had a birthday. Shout out.
Good.
Nice.
15 and 10, man. There are times where I don't know what to do. There are times as a parent, I need help.
That's dad shit.
And I am thankful that I've never been in a situation where I had to call somebody or be in a moment where it was like, the police are the only people that can help me. And to think as a parent, if I had been in that situation, this is on the table. I can't even trust that in my most vulnerable moment as a parent, that when you take my child away, they may not die.
Exactly. You can't call the powers that be.
Come on,
you can't call the people you're supposed to call.
The people we pay to call.
It's been proven now.
And I'm going to tell you some secondary fallout from this that I don't think enough people are talking about either, right?
Let's do it.
The youth see all of this happening.
Yeah.
So when people want to go around and be like, oh, these youth are out of control and they doing this and they doing that. I want you to show me one time, one place, one example in this society where this dream you've been teaching them to chase pays off.
Right.
Show it to me for this generation, not mine, not yours, theirs.
You
show it to me.
About 1 in 50.
Don't see
1 in 50.
They see it on TikTok videos and that's it.
They see these memes of these one-off situations of these kids who go through these extraordinary situations. But for every one of those situations they see 50 Cedric Loftons.
Yeah, you're right.
So these kids will start. I don't blame them. When they don't value life. When have we taught them to value life? When have we taught them to value life?
When have we told them life is valuable?
I get a better one. When have we showed ourselves we value life? We don't go out into the community like we care. Yeah. And now we raising kids. And I don't know why we still think this do as I say, not as I do bullshit work. I don't know why we still doing that.
Because if you're detached from your community, then your kids are going to be even more so.
Come on, man.
Even more so. You're 100% right on that. And I've been trying to change that about when we started doing this. Like, it forced me to get back into the community that I love anyway, too.
And you guys know
big shout out to Muse. Big shout out to Muse, because what y'all do with the all ages open mic and opening that up, having that is huge.
Man, I'm trying
that everything. That is so huge.
Yeah, help them.
We need this is what I'm saying. Like,
more attendance to that.
I have the Cedric County Corrections Office sending me aged out foster youth.
Yeah.
Man, do you realize 60-70% of aged out foster youth immediately homeless? You know what I mean? Homeless, drug addicted, whatever.
No options. I mean, unfortunately, that's what you say is no options.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Now, some of them might
aged out foster
find something.
That's a huge thing for me.
Yeah.
I'm fostering a kid right now. We're about to adopt him because he's awesome. You know.
Yeah.
You met him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's awesome. He's awesome. Spaz.
Careful.
We can't say his name.
Yeah. You gotta cut some of that.
Oh, I forgot.
I call him Spaz.
Spaz. That's right. I forgot about that.
The fantastic spastic. Yeah. But badass kid.
Yeah.
He just needed a chance.
Yeah.
Somebody believe in somebody.
You know?
That's what I'm glad you brought up the open mics, because, like, here's something you can come do. Like, if you ain't got shit to do. Like, here's something you can come do and like feel like you're doing something, and it might change your fucking life around a little bit. You get a little positivity in your life. You never know how.
It's once a week, man.
We talked about Commissioner Cruz earlier.
Yes.
Yeah.
She actually threw out an idea at a community meeting about 6-7 months ago that I love. She talked about putting together a mobile studio. A mobile studio where we can literally go to these kids.
Yeah, that's a fucking great idea.
Come on, man.
That's
I got the mobile studio.
There are things we can do.
Yeah, we got this shit.
There are things we can do, but it starts with,
right
to wrap everything back around, we have got to re-embrace our humanity.
You're right.
Can we just cooperate, though? I feel competition is so outdated.
I don't get that. Like, I know you guys all do music and shit like that. Like that. I just like everybody's shit, man. It don't bother me. Like, I don't have.
I just think it's outdated.
I'm gonna say it like this: hip hop culture infected damn near everything. When it went from just the noise, the way that it was perceived in the early '90s, to being a household thing and marketing in 2000s into 2010s. Yeah. Hip hop just infected the culture of hip hop, infected so much. That competition, right? And this is me, the artist, coming out, right?
All right, we're gonna battle.
Yeah, we can go back and forth on this.
I like it.
We can go back and forth on this because it makes me think of like early labels in the 90s where you had all of these competing artists, right? But they weren't necessarily competing like your success is my failure. Right? They were competing like you're successful, but guess what? I'm about to be more successful.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Cash Money No Limit.
Exactly.
Like the Cash Money No Limit shit. Like, perfect example of that. That's where I got on board with hip-hop music. Was that
we ain't even that.
Yeah, I'm not trying to tear you down, right? But I absolutely, when I listen to you, I'm like, oh man, Aaron, dope as can be. But guess what? About to murder him. He ain't ready. I'm about...
And that makes
eventually they started letting you come on tracks together, and they try to murder each other on their own tracks. Man. That's why I like hip hop.
I'm saying anything you bring me, I'm gonna try to dominate.
Absolutely.
And you should try to dominate whatever I brought there.
Because ultimately, steel sharpens steel. Yeah. Right? So we're gonna make each other both artists.
That's what
better artists.
We elevate each other.
We elevate each other. Was when my old band Dear Departed was playing up at the Muse Ballroom up in Salina, and we opened for Taproot that night, and Signum AD.
I swear I was thinking the same thing. I was like, he interjected like God talking. It's like I need to bow my head with my hands together when I start hearing. What?
Signum AD was going on after us, and they were good friends of ours. We knew their set, they knew our set, and we were going off stage and like, dude, guys, nice work. And we're like, yeah, cool, thanks. You know, it's our friends telling us that we did good, cool. But then when we watched them play their set was different than normal. They changed their set because they wanted to be a little more badass. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you did it.
Because they weren't lying when they were giving us compliments. They're like, dude, you guys killed it. So they felt that they had to up their game. That's the best compliment ever.
For real though.
Somebody felt they had to up their game because of the way you performed. That's legit.
But I think the competition it gets skewed, right? Because remember I said earlier, we miss these small things and they rear their heads in different areas. The entertainment industry, that lack of humanity, this is it rearing its head.
Was you blaming that on the hip hop culture though, or just a minute ago though, kinda?
No, not necessarily blaming it, but saying
justifying the competition part of it because of how. Like hip hop, you kind of go back and forth with each other.
I want to say this.
Is that what you meant?
I think that's what made it kind of expand. Because I think that element was kind of always there when you talk about being an artist as a profession, right?
I want to try to be the
best. I think hip hop kind of made it like mushroom.
I think
you're right.
I think there's always some promoter somewhere that's going to try to fluff you up about a thing. Like, let's go. And
is he trying to make some money?
Well, and those are the kind of people we need. We're artists, you know. We're artists. I need somebody to promote me. You know, like I just want to do this, man.
Yeah,
I just want to make music. If you can take my shit and pump it up there, let's go. You know, but how often is that genuine, and how often is that like?
I will say always support. I will always say. So what I've noticed about the more and more I hang out with any type of artist, whether they paint or whatever the fuck they do, they're all insecure. And they're all hate their own art to some fashion, which I appreciate. And they every once in a while they need a genuine like, hey man, you're doing the right thing. You know, you can still give constructive criticism to your friends. You can still help them get better in a good way, but you do also need to give a little bit of honey to every artist. I feel like, and I try to do that to a more than I should because I'm not an artist, but I see it in all the artists' struggle in their face. When they start talking about, you give them a compliment and they wince up real hard. It's tough for them. So
well, let's be real, okay? Artistry.
Yes.
I mean, we talking about this real low point up to this real high point, man. There's a very wide spectrum of artistry.
Yeah, for sure.
And what I want us to find is our realm of it.
I tell young artists,
our own personal thing.
I tell young artists all the time, you have to figure out what you want.
Yeah.
Out of your art.
And you have to present that.
Entertain you first.
Well,
first.
I would even argue, once you really know what you want out of art, it'll present itself.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, if you know the only thing you want to do is perform on open mics every chance you get. You love getting on stage.
Right.
And you don't want to go no further than that.
Come on,
you
man.
just want to get on open
3
mics.
of them a week you can do.
You will naturally gravitate to those things, and you will prepare yourself for that.
Right.
You won't be pressed to try to find a manager. You won't be pressed to get on the road. You won't be pressed if you're not getting asked to open.
I'm saying don't
because
be
that's
pressed.
not what you want out of it, right?
Don't be
but
pressed.
If that is what you want out of it, it's knowing what it takes to succeed in the area that you're trying to be in, right?
There's a lot of examples, right?
To that question that you were saying, like, how many times is it genuine when people are trying to promote you and put you on? I would argue nowadays, almost never. Only because, though, the game has changed, right? As a musician, you got to be able to do it all. You got to be able to do it. If you are not on the creative side and on the production side and on the business side,
and all that
you
shit
are not doing all of it, you're not going to survive.
But
so if somebody steps in, it is going to take a team.
It's going to take a team.
But
it better be your team.
It's going to take a team.
It's going to take you at first.
But that is the key.
Right.
You can only build a team, at least this is how I feel in this day and age. You have to already have yourself established, right? So let's say I want to be a rapper. I'm going to make sure I have at least a basic understanding of beat production, engineering, and then my actual talent of MCing, right?
Right.
Once I get a handle on that, as I get bigger, I can incorporate somebody to produce my beats. I can incorporate other engineers.
Especially when you know what you want now and you can tell
that's
them
the key, though. I know what I'm looking for.
So I can hire somebody for the exact thing that I want. Yeah.
You can't play me because I know where I'm going. I know what I'm trying to do, and at the end of the day, I can wash you. I do it myself.
Yeah, or hire somebody that can do what I want them to do.
Hey man,
come on.
I really appreciate you coming on.
Yes.
We need to go through all the Juneteenth stuff that's coming up.
I want you to share your
everything we can get. Yeah, get all the dates.
We're about to wrap up, so we're gonna have to
let me throw this in here real quick.
Don't think this is your only appearance on this show. I
love to come back.
Yeah, you will.
I love to come back.
Yeah, 100%.
So, my bad.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying. I was just about to say you should have a podcast. You'd be great.
That camera right there.
Yeah, tell them all the things we do.
Juneteenth, baby. It's your band Blk Sol, and this coming. Well, I guess when this airs, it'll be this coming weekend. This coming weekend, Juneteenth, June 17th through the 20th. We got events going on, man. Please come out and support. The majority of them at McAdams Park. On the 17th, that Friday, we got Rudy Love Jr. is going to come out with his band. They're going to perform. And the night is going to be capped out by the After Dark crew. If you ever been to the After Dark shows, you know they get down. If not, you in for a treat. So definitely come out and support that. Saturday, we got the parade starting off in the morning at 10 o'clock. And then after the parade, we'll be in McAdams all day, 11 to 9. We got performers. There's an area for the youth. I want to give a special shout out to the State of the Youth going on that day. They got a whole hour program. Last year that the youth did it, man, it was absolutely awesome. Y'all got to come out and support these kids. It's amazing to hear them talk about how they see what's going on in the world. You know what I'm saying? And they're very articulate. These kids, shout out to Marquita Atkins. She keeps them kids sharp.
Hell yeah.
I want to shout out a couple of the performers. On that Saturday, we got the Motions. Shout out to Muse. They'll be performing. Nice. We got a singer. So I asked her, I was like, what you want your stage name to be? And I didn't know if she was serious. But she sent me Red Killer SFDS, aka Deja. So,
hey, you sent it, so that's what he said.
Hey, I promise you that. Hey,
is she going out? Really?
Hey, I love artists. Hey, if you gonna tell me that's what your name is, man, I'm rocking with it.
I'm gonna roll with it.
And then shout out to Tarai. She also is gonna be performing as well.
Tarai, she's cool.
Man,
she came out to the open mic a few times.
Love Tarai.
Yeah,
love Tarai. Yeah. Tom Hanks, Uncle Bam, Dave, Popeye, Bree McBride, King Prodigy, Paradox, CC Hernandez, and Boss T, amongst some other people that's gonna be out there. I'll be your MC all day. So please come out that evening. We got Paris Jane that's gonna perform, and Press Play is gonna get down as well. So if y'all done heard them play, definitely come on out. Sunday, man, I'm telling you, all weekend we getting down. Sunday we got Black Fist. I talked about him earlier in the show. Black Fist is gonna open us up. And then we got Nostalgia playing next. Big shout out to Nostalgia. I love every time I get to hear them play. Most of y'all probably done heard them at Vorshay's, and they've been at the Brickyard a couple times. Yeah. And then something extra closes out on Sunday, and then Monday we have the Gospel Explosion. So we got an hour-and-a-half program Monday evening. Yeah.
So really, if you're sitting at home bitching about ain't nothing to do,
I mean, you're wrong. You ain't paying attention.
Wrong by nature.
You ain't paying attention.
And shout out to McAdams Park for letting you guys do that.
Yes, man.
Shout
for like the third year in a row, man.
McAdams Park has always been down for everything. Yes. I used to mow that park back in the day when I worked in the city. Which, I worked for the.
And it's growing. You know, they just redid the park.
It's a huge fucking park. And League 42 operates out of there. A lot of great things happen out of McAdams.
New pool, all of that, man.
McAdams Park's a great fucking park in this town.
Well, hey guys, it's the Aaron and Austin show.
Yeah, check out all of Blk Sol stuff. Where can we? You got you personally?
Yes.
They can find you on Facebook and stuff.
Blk Sol, Blk Sol. That's for Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Twitter was the only one. Somebody stole it on Twitter, so I'm so black on Twitter.
So get with this man. I mean, obviously, if you haven't been watching, highly interesting guy in our community, doing great fucking things. So let's get down with everything that he's doing.
Thank y'all, man. Thank y'all so much.
Much appreciated. Let's wrap this up.
Hey, guys, we're going to get out of here. Tune in on our YouTube. Like and subscribe.
Check out our merch. Check out our GoFundMe.
We have some merch. We have a GoFundMe. We will sound a lot better with some better microphones. And so that's what we're
and less liquor.
And if you can buy us some 12-year-old red breast, that'd be great.
All right. Hey, we love you.
All right. Play that theme song.
Y'all gonna touch dreads on camera too?
I don't know if this is allowed.
I mean, it got real intimate there for a minute.